Alright, so here we're going to review of the KZ ZS12 Pro X. This is a 5BA 1 dynamic driver set that retails for around $50. This was sent to me by Keep Hi-Fi for review, so big thank you to them. And yeah, let's get into that. Of course, that doesn't affect my opinion at all of this set. And yeah, let's take this out here. Come on, there we go. Let's grab these. It does come with a set of foam tips that are down there. So I do not use foam, so I did not test those. But it does come with it, which is nice for the price. Take this out. You have the cable. And then we have the stock KZ tips here. I mean, I think if you've seen any other KZ sets, you've seen these before. But they have these little divots in them. These are to like change the sound a little bit for the tuning. And yeah, it has a small, medium, large, you know, all that stuff. Alright, let's talk about real quick the cable. The cable is terrible. It's awful. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. I've seen better cables in almost every other price range. This is the lowest of the low. This is kind of the worst cables can get. It holds its shape a lot. It's very not supple. It's just overall it's a terrible cable. It does use a connector, the one that it's kind of, I don't know what this connector is actually called, but it is the 2-pin that you would actually have the recess in the cable, and it's protruding from the IEM. So if you like that, that's what it has. If you don't like it, that's what it has. Anyway, yeah, so cable, not good. Anyway, let's talk about build quality and comfort here. Build quality wise though, these have an excellent build quality for the price. It's full metal here. I think that they look okay. I'm not a big fan of the design, but I can imagine some people are. The design's alright. It's not my thing. But the build is excellent. Very good build for $50. It is full metal. It's got a little bit of heft to it, but it didn't affect the comfort. These were very comfortable for me. And yeah, honestly, no problems with the build or the comfort on my end. Now let's talk about what you care about here the most, the sound. As you can maybe see already from when I rotated this around, it has 4 tuning switches, which makes my job harder. But yeah, it has 4 tuning switches, which means it's got a lot of tunings. I did not cover all of the tunings in my testing. I covered the ones it recommended. I forgot to take this out here. Take this part out. It has a little sheet telling you like their recommended tuning. So I tried all of these, and I tried all the switches up because that is what it comes with. When you take it out of the box, all the switches are already up. So it does come with this piece of paper, which we're going to use to talk about it. And it comes with this little SIM ejection tool to flick the switches. So you would just take the switch here and, you know, flick it up and down. You know, I think you've seen these before, most likely. Anyway, so another thing I wanted to know actually in the build quality is that these switches actually felt very good quality. I know that sounds weird to say, but a lot of these tunable IEMs with tuning switches have switches that feel a little bit loose, feel like they're going to break after a couple years. This actually felt like, had a really good click. I don't know if I can get that can this focus? Thank you. If I can get that on camera and try to be quiet so you can hear this. I don't know if you can hear that, but I hope you could. And yeah, overall, good quality, like feeling switches when you actually switch them. Anyway, now let's talk about the sound. I'm going to go real quick through these. And then I'm going to talk about the sound that I like the most. And yeah. So first of all, let's talk about all down and one up. Which is this one here. Tuning switch 4. I have like a little note sheet because this is too much to remember. But pretty much this one was probably the safest tuning. It is, let me bring this paper up a little bit here. It has the high frequencies reduced. It just slightly... It made the sound kind of a little bit too boring for me. I didn't really like it because it made the music sound kind of dead. The vocals sounded very just flat. There was no energy to the music. It was very safe. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't bad, but there's better things for the price. Honestly, I can't imagine recommending it based on that tuning because it's boring. Nothing special about it. It is IEM. That's it. Next tuning I tried was the first one up, all the rest down, which was this one. It was, let me check my notes here. Oh yeah, shouty mids, overall poor. I didn't like it at all. It had a little bit of sibilance, not like a lot, but a decent amount. overall, I didn't enjoy that one either. Now the first two up, the second two down, which is here. I didn't like this one either. It was better than the first one up, all the rest down. But again, this sound, the more issue was that the mids were very empty, very hollow. There was no note weight at all. Almost, it was kind of just felt bad. Just sounded bad. Vocals sounded even worse than dead. They just sounded just empty, and there was no note weight. It felt very poor. Then now let's talk about what I actually listened to the most, which was all the switches up. This is the ones I enjoyed the most. It's not even on the sheet. Oh yeah, all the switches down. I forgot to mention that one. It was fine. Again, boring, but I mean, it wasn't a big issue. It sounded very similar to when all them down with the treble switch, the last switch up, which was this one. It sounded similar to this, not too different. Anyway, now let's talk about all the switches up. This one was the one that sounded the best, but I still can't really recommend it. Now, it is decent, but it has a metallic timbre to it. It had a little bit of metallic tinge in the whole frequency response, but a lot more in the treble. I'm going to go bass, mids, highs here for this one because this is what I mainly used during testing. Okay, let's start with the bass. The bass had a good hit, a really excellent like slam to it, but it had really poor texture. And overall, I'd say it's about pretty much average in the price range. Nothing special, but it wasn't terrible. It was okay for the price. Going on to the mid-range. The mid-range had poor note weight again. Wasn't as bad as with the other settings on the other tuning switches, but it still had a pretty poor note weight. Overall, it was okay. The vocals were more pushed back than the rest of the track. Instruments were a little bit more forward. It was fine. The mid-range was nothing special. I wouldn't recommend it either for the price range. Treble had a metallic tinge, and it was a little bit sibilant. Overall, not great treble either. And I think you guys see the pattern here. I didn't really enjoy this set. None of the tuning sounded good for me. I guess if you wanted the most listenable one, maybe it's not all the switches up, but instead maybe all the switches down, or with the one switch up, which is this one. Where's this one here? The first three down, the last one up, which reduced the high frequencies. These two were probably I guess the most meh ones, while all of them up was I'd say it's the most enjoyable, but still had a lot of flaws, which these two didn't have. But overall, it's just more of a why. Like, why would you get this, in my opinion? Like, if you have things like the EPZ Q1 Pro available for $30, you have the 02 for $25, and you have a lot of other things in this price range, and these are both cheaper than the and then the ZS12 Pro. Why get this when you can get these? This has a wider stage. This has actually, though, a wide stage. I forgot to mention that. Had a wide stage with very poor imaging. So I didn't like the imaging at all on these. It was very messy, very hard to, pinpoint a location on anything. Imaging was poor. But the stage was better than most things in the price range. Still, though, not like extremely impressive. The Q1 Pro has an exceptional stage for the price, so better stage on the Q1 Pro. Same stage, maybe. I think actually this has more stage than the 02. This does have more stage, but the 02, it just overall has a better timbre, better imaging, overall better signature. It doesn't have that like shrillness in the treble. It doesn't have that recessed vocals. Both of these don't have that problem. So it's more of a why. Why would you get these? All the tuning options I've tried during my testing did not sound better than either of these. So why would you get this? Just why? I honestly, if you're in this price bracket of $50 and under, I'd recommend one of these sets are probably the best that I've heard in this price range. So if you want, you can see the reviews of these on my channel. But I wouldn't be able to recommend these personally. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.